Good morning, Patriots. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. This is Mike Cook coming to you live from Central Missouri. It's approximately 8:30 a.m. on 4/13/2021. The year we will achieve victory. Have faith. It's coming. God is in control. You know, the 17th would say, trust the plan. I trust God. I don't know what the plan is. So moving right along. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you can hear me all right as you're logging in. Say hi. Tell me where you're watching from. I do go back and read the comments when I have time, and I appreciate everybody that jumps on and comments and gets into this. Do me a favor, if you're watching right now on Facebook, please go over and follow me. Hit the like button, the share button, give me a comment, a shout out where you're watching from. People watching from all over the country, even all over the world in some cases. Used to have a lot more all over the world, but it seems like Facebook doesn't want my message spread all over the world anymore. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm not arguing. I am doing battle on the enemy's playground, and that's going to be more evidence by the end of today. If you're watching over on YouTube, this is my YouTube account. Mike Cook got the little A10 on there. There's like almost 3,500 subscribers now. So I do appreciate everybody that did subscribe. If you're over there, subscribe, ring the bell, share the video from there, comment, let me know that you're watching from there. I do appreciate everybody that does jump on. I do appreciate it. Also, every video is loaded to Rumble. Once I finish, I load them right up to Rumble. And Rumble's where it's still free. I mean, they're not really censoring people too much over at Rumble. They do a little bit. They got BB a couple times. Poor guy. They're just chasing him all over the place. And I'm on Telegram. All my videos are also loaded on Telegram. All these videos that I'm going to share, everything to discuss, and then some, because I can't fit it all in, and some stuff you just can't play on these censored networks and social media networks. But all this stuff is on my Telegram account. Go over to my Telegram account. You can follow it there. You can also find other people to follow, because I don't screenshot and cut out like it's my information, like I'm some sort of genius. I share where I get it from. So you can do that, or you can just, go to mine and it'll be consolidated for you. It's also where I developed all my material for my shows. Basically, it's my stack of stuff owed to the late, great Rush Limbaugh. So again, Telegram, Rumble, YouTube, and of course, if you're on Facebook, you know how to find me there. But I do appreciate everybody who is on and coming on today. A lot of big things happening, a lot of things changing. As you know, there was some incidents that happened over the weekend, and now here we go, protesting. Whose streets are streets? Hey, hey, ho, ho, all these cops, they got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, you've been saying the same chant since 1964. Anyways, moving on. So we'll start off with a little bit of humor. So El Donaldo Trumpio posted this. It says, Spanish word of the day, beechwood. If Creepy Joe quits, that crazy beach would be president. I almost messed up the punchline. That one tickles me all the time. I tell you what, if you don't follow that guy on Twitter, and no, he's on Telegram now too. Amazing. Just search on. I share a couple things from him on Telegram. You should be able to find it. Anyways, as you're jumping on, I do appreciate it. Hey, hope you all have a nice warm cup of coffee, because we all need a little bit of coffee to get through today. But don't fear. I believe God is on his way. He may not come when you want him, but he's always right on time. So the Babylon Bee, they came out with a new article. Babylon Bee is satire. Please, this is satire. I just want to point out this is satire because some people don't get it. Fisher-Price released my first peaceful protest playset with a house you can actually burn. Story says in East Aurora, New York, the toy geniuses at Fisher-Price have announced a brand new toy made just for leftist parents and their kids. The My First Peaceful Protest playset. The kid-sized clubhouse will come with several varieties of spray paint so the kids can tag the tiny building with their own empowering slogans. It will also be made out of cardboard, allowing the cute little tykes to burn the whole thing down if their demands are not met. How about that? Here at Fisher-Price, we are steadfastly committed to social justice, said toy designer Camden Flufferton. We need to teach our kids about what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Anyways, and there are no better examples of democracy in action than violent vandalism and arson, as we're about to see in a few minutes. We hope this new playset will serve as an inspiration for parents wanting to teach their kids how to threaten citizens with violence whenever their demands are not met. The set will also come with toy televisions, cell phones, jewelry, clothing. It should come with auto parts too, allowing kids to simulate looting before they torch the entire set. The set will be available in stores for $399 because of capitalism. Even though they're good socialists, they still wanted a little capitalism too. Experts are questioning the wisdom of this move by Fisher-Price, mainly because people in the target market don't typically have any kids. We know they'll probably only sell like 3 or so of these, said Flufferton. But selling them isn't the point. We just need you to know we're on the right side of history. And boy, we're going to talk about that. Keep that post in mind in a minute because we're about to get to that. But as you all know, peaceful protests broke out all over the country, especially back in a suburb of Minneapolis because of another shooting that happened by a police officer. Peaceful protest, in case you don't understand, this is a peaceful protest right here. And I'm just going to lay this out for you to understand. Starting from the screen left is you see he's displaying the peace symbol right there. That got a couple peaceful protesters here in their peaceful protesting gear, and they're displaying the peace symbol and a patriotic salute to America. And in the background, they're warming up the engine of that vehicle in the background. You see that right there? And there's some peacefully normal gutter fire down there. That's just normal. That's what happens in these peaceful protests. And there's some love poems written on a building by this poet down there in the background. You see him back there? He's writing love poems on the building. And I'm sure that's some sort of a peaceful government building that, you know, taxpayers have to pay for and all that. Down here in a few minutes, I'm sure. It's all peaceful. It's all peaceful. There's no violence here. CNN, MSNBC, they all said no violence, all peaceful. Everything's good. Everything's fine. Everything's great. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Yeah, I know. I've heard the chants. That's what they said. So what happened? Let's let me pull this up to big screen here, and we're going to play this here video. This is the incident the other day that caused all the mayhem. Now, what you have here, as you can see, there's an officer on one side, an officer on the other side, and another officer with a body camera in the background. This is a felony stop. They know they're pulling over somebody who might be a problem. So that's what we got going on right here. Trying to put the man in cuffs. And the fight's on. Now, what you had there is the officer, sounds like a female officer. Now, there's a couple things that I've noticed, and I'm not trying to chase conspiracies, nothing like that, just things I noticed in that video. First of all, the media has been reporting that it was a Fox News broadcast I was watching a recording of, that they said the policeman, or they'll say the police officer, or they'll say these guys, or they'll say something along that lines, but they won't say the female. See, that was a female officer. Some reason the media doesn't want to say female. I guess that they're afraid that might turn sympathy towards the officers a little bit, that it was a female. I don't know why they're not saying female. There's a reason. I mean, if you're going to give an accurate description of what happened here, a black young man was pulled over by 3 police officers, and the female officer accidentally shoots the man because she thought she had a taser in her hand. That's an accurate description of what just happened right there. Of course, I never heard a gunshot. Did you? Maybe it's something to do with the microphone. Maybe it was just too much, so the microphone automatically, there's some technology that will allow that to mute so you don't burn out. I don't know. But there's a whole lot going on here that has a lot of questions to be asked, and why the media reporting it a specific way, I don't know. But that's just something that I noticed yesterday. Also, pictures come out of this young man who lost his life, and that's a tragedy. But let me just say this first. This is my warning to you, that if a police officer tells you to do something, especially if his gun's drawn, you should do it as if your life depends on it. This statement, I've made it before last year at this time when we had the same sort of thing happening in the same location. Oh, by the way, just letting you know that the murder trial, Derek, how do you say his name, Chauvin or whatever, murder trial expected to wrap up by Friday, just in time for weekend riots. Isn't that going to be great? And we're just getting the warm-up act now. But see, I posted this last year too. And boy, people got mad at me because I'm a racist. Yep. But what I'm saying here is that if a human being, regardless of his training or his badge or the color of his uniform or what he's doing, who has a firearm, who's in a stressful situation, who doesn't know you from Adam, doesn't know what you're going to do, has to face death every single day, asks you to do something, you should probably do it as if your life depends on it, because it just might. Because they just might be pulling out their gun instead of their taser and might accidentally shoot your ass. You see, it's a whole lot easier for you to hire an attorney and get this mess straightened out if you're still alive. This kid did nothing wrong. He should have just stood there, went to jail, probably would have bailed out by noon. Hire an attorney and fix this. Heck, if it was wrong, he might have been able to get paid. I don't know. Evidently, he did, because he ran. Because here's a picture of the young man. He's on his way to church. Of course, I can't complain because the gun I don't have, I carry it in church when I don't have it because I lost it in a gambling accident on a boat that sank while I was snow skiing. But here's this young man with his gun and his blunt between his fingers, because, guns and blunts, they mix well together. And he's practicing great weapon muzzle discipline as he points it towards his own heart. But hey, teach his own, I guess. And here's this young man right here with wads of cash. I'm sure he got that in his 9-to-5 job as he was working at a smile factory, bringing smiles to all the children around the world or something. See, but this young man made a mistake. Looks like the officer may have made a mistake. There's a bunch of mistakes there. But when you make a mistake, it could cost you your life. Just, yes, officer. Yes, officer. Put the handcuffs on me. I don't have anything to say until I talk to my attorney. Right? Or you can resist and get shot when they think they're tasing you. I mean, your choice is yours. Oh, but you don't understand what it's like to be. No, I don't understand what it's like to be. I don't know what it's like to be. But whatever you're going to say, no, I don't. I only know what it's like to be me. But if this young man would have complied, he may be in jail, but he'd be alive. And then he can hire an attorney and sort it all out. That's just my opinion of things. But so what happens is now we have all this going on. Well, I'll tell you what. let me just pull this up real quick. And I'm gonna jump over here. Mr. Terrence K. Williams, you all know him. He had something he said about it, and I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, good and well, the police did not pull this man over and arrest him for having air freshener hanging in his car.
That's the claim of the family.
They come up with so many lies. They come up with so many outrageous lies. The man had a warrant out for his arrest. And I'm not saying he should have been killed. I'm not saying he should have been shot at all, just because he had a warrant. The man resisted arrest. He had a warrant out for his arrest. And his family and his friends are saying he was pulled over because a police officer saw air freshener hanging in his car. Child, this got to be the stupidest crap I ever heard. I have never in my life heard of the police pulling somebody over for having air freshener. That's a damn lie. The police didn't do that. The man had a warrant. And then he resisted arrest. They were handcuffing him. He resisted arrest, fought with the police. He got shot and drove off in his car. And now people out here looting. They not looting because they care about the man who got shot. They are looting because they are a bunch of low-down thieves. Just want to do crooked stuff. Anybody who loots and steals is a thug. You are a straight-up thug. And you don't care about George Floyd. You don't care about the man who just got shot over this weekend. You don't care about that man who got shot. Don't go nowhere, people. I need somebody to help me understand one more thing. If somebody is shot by the police officer, by a cop, okay? If somebody is shot by a cop and you are really sad about what happened, why would you go to the Nike store, to the Gucci store, and loot and steal stuff? What does stealing shoes
Because it sells good on eBay
with the police shooting somebody? What does it have to do? What does stealing shoes and clothes have to do with the police pulling somebody over who had a warrant out for their arrest, and then they end up getting shot for resisting arrest? How in the world are you so sad about that? So the first thing you do is go steal some damn shoes. You're doing that for you. You're not doing that for the man who got shot. Get the hell out of here. Do I look like Boo Boo the Foo-Foo to you? Oh, I'm not Boo Boo the Foo-Foo. I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb at all. Do I look like Boo Boo the Foo-Foo? No, I don't. These people don't give a damn about nobody. That's why they're stealing stuff.
So he's pretty opinionated about that, and I can't say I disagree with him one bit. That's pretty much my sentiments on the whole thing. But I think he said it better than me. So there's lots of video out there of the riots and all this stuff. There's also a video of them marching. I was going to play this video, but they're marching down the street in D.C., a big crowd, and they're chanting, "This is what democracy looks like." That's why I was saying that earlier. But then they had, Richard said, I posted both videos on my Telegram account. Go check it out. If you're not on Telegram, download the app and do it. It's where freedom is right now, at least till they start banning things over there. But they show that the media was reporting that they were protesting in D.C. And, of course, they're taking all the barriers down just in time for the weekend protests that are going to be coming because, they're going to quit that cop because that's the plan. Riots and violence and, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. What was that Kim Clement said? Hot summer, July. Yeah, something like that. Do you see all that's going on around the world? All the tanks and planes and shooting and bombing and who knows what else? Am I impressed with your weapons of war? We're in a time when prophecy, man, it's coming true right before our very eyes. Got a little off on a tangent there, apologize. But they got these videos of DC where these protesters are marching down the street, but Richard, citizen journalist, you don't follow him, you should. He's on Twitter, he's on Telegram. He's driving around DC with his camera in his car. There's cops everywhere, there's sirens going off, but no protesters. The streets are deserted. So what's going on with it? I looked around to find out where that video of them lie, and I got the video. It's on my Telegram account. I'm not going to play it now, for time's sake. But I'm going to play a couple other videos that I want you to see. Let me enlarge this so that you can see what's going on. This first video, there's some graphic language, so if you got your little ones with you, you know, it is what it is. I can't help it who these people are. But I want you to see what these peaceful protesters, these freedom fighters, these people who want to stick it to the man and want to make sure that this young man is memorialized in the proper way. Let's see what they were doing over in a suburb of Minneapolis. I forget the name of the little town. Somebody put it in the comments there, you know.
If the white person, they white get their ass. Hurry that bitch up. Hey, they beating up every white person.
They're beating up every white person.
Every white person. Man, no white person come down Sherman. He white. Beat his shit, bitch.
So, I got a question for y'all. If they're screaming, beat up every white person, there ain't no white people coming down Sherman. I wonder if they know the name Sherman, you know, it's like the Sherman tank, like the General Sherman was a white dude. But anyways, moving on. Ain't no white people coming down Sherman named after a white dude. I wonder if they know, you know, if I said in my street, people coming down, there better not be no black people, I was going to use a different word, but probably I'll use that word, coming down Main Street and start beating them up, I'd be charged with a hate crime. Now, I'm totally against hate crime because if I'm beating on somebody or I'm shooting somebody or I'm treating somebody evil, I mean, it's not because I like them. I mean, murder is murder. Assault is assault. I mean, it's not because we're friends and we're happy and we're trying to express love to each other when we're trying to beat the crap out of each other, right? So I'm against hate crimes. But shouldn't this be, under their own definition, a hate crime? They're beating these people up because the color of the skin. Does that make them racist? Oh, but they can't be racist because, you know, they're oppressed minorities. And here's another of the peaceful protesters last night in Minneapolis, the suburb thereof. Here's another example of their peaceful protesting, you know, for love, for the loss of this young child on his way to church and working at the Smiles factory where he makes smiles for all the little children.
Yep, that's a drive by.
Isn't that wonderful? The peaceful protesting with their AK-47s and their, oh, wait a second. Joe Biden said that we need to get rid of those weapons of war. You might need a weapon of war if war is breaking out. Speaking of weapons of war, isn't this amazing? It says some Brooklyn Center. That's the name of the little suburb there of Minneapolis, Brooklyn Center. Some Brooklyn Center stores are being protected by civilians with firearms. The looters have stayed away from those places. No kidding. Yes, it's not fun when you're in a two-way shooting range. One-way shooting ranges are fun, entertaining. You get to go out to the range and you get to take your gun out, you go pow, and you get to shoot. I don't have any guns. I lost them all in a gambling accident while boating. When my boat sunk, we're gambling. I gambled them away while my boat sunk while I was snow skiing. Yeah, that's it. Anyways, moving right along. But when you go to the range and you're shooting at the range and you're shooting at targets, and they're not shooting back at you, that's fun. But when your targets start shooting back at you, that's not fun anymore. It's all fun and games till someone gets shot, right? Till someone starts shooting back. So when you create a two-way shooting range, these guys don't want any part of it. They want to rape, pillage, and loot because some guy they don't know was shot by a cop. No justice, no pizza, or whatever it is. They want to rape, pillage, and loot until someone, puts a gun in their face. Then they're not interested. Vice President Kamala Harris, faux Joe and the hoe. Prayers are not enough. God will not be mocked. God will not be mocked. Prayers are not enough. Dwayne Wright should still be with us. While an investigation is underway, our nation needs justice and healing, and Dante's family needs to know why their child is dead. Well, their child is dead because he resisted arrest in a situation that could have possibly got him killed, and it did. That's why the child's dead. Comply. Sort it out with the attorneys. God will not be mocked. Kamala Harris said prayers are not enough. This is an intentional statement. This is an attack on the church. You can't just go pray. You've got to do something. We got to get rid of guns because prayer is not enough. That's where it came from. It's from these gun haters out there, which I don't have any guns. I lost them. I lost them gambling in a boating accident while snow skiing. That's it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm going to keep saying that. You're welcome to steal that one if you'd like. But this is what Kim Clement said. God will not be mocked. And they shall say, but now there's a second president. How can we have two presidents? Unusual thing, isn't it? The Spirit of the Lord, says the Spirit of the Lord. Why would it be that one with a double mind would stand up and face the people? Double mind. And look that word up. No, you hear the train going by? Yeah, the Trump train again. No, they shall say, we have two presidents. What do we do now? Fear not, for God said, as I promised before, this is my nation. I will change things according to the times and season. And I told you now, I will expose and reveal things that have been hidden so that my nation can move into the next election, into the next phase with victory and honor and glory, says the Lord of hosts. This was said in 2008. We are in a time of prophetic change. God's hand is on what's happening right now. These protests were all prophesied. Hot summer. It's going to get worse, not better. It's going to get worse, not better. It's going to get worse, not better. You just wait till Friday when this guy gets gets acquitted because they overcharged him on purpose. Their expert testimony got destroyed by the defense attorneys. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. I'm pretty sure. Oh, Lord have mercy. What do I have coming up next year? I forget where I was. Okay. I don't need that one. There's a lot more videos on my Telegram account about all the protests and stuff. You can go see that. I do want to talk about this, though. For your information, the favorite way for globalists like Soros, think Arab Spring here, to topple governments, overthrow a nation is to first severely damage their economy, think COVID-19. Second, cause civil unrest by paying mercenaries and anarchist groups. They created these groups. They pay them. They all of this stuff. Okay. Something else I noticed, this has come to mind. They're protesting and violently in New York, Minneapolis, Seattle, and a couple other places. And they're supposed to have some big ones all over the country this weekend. So why weren't they protesting in D.C.? Why was the media trying to hype it that they were protesting in D.C.? Why'd they take all the fences down if they know that protesting is coming? See, they put fences up because they thought you were going to show up. Those redneck hillbilly Alabama guys with the pickup trucks and shotguns. AR-15, AR-14s with the 50 caliber magazines and 100 round bullets. or something. They were going to show up, D.C., take us out. We need crew-served weapons, Nancy Pelosi said. You need 50 cals on the Capitol. Ma deuce. Remember that? But they put all these fences up to put the national. Now they sent the National Guard home and they took all the fences down just in time for the Antifa and the Black Lives Matter. You know, another thing, too, that's popped in my head as I'm talking about this. You notice that when it's snowing and cold, bitter cold, oh, it's so cold, these guys aren't out protesting, looting, raping, and pillaging. Have you noticed that? That April, May, June of last year, they were raping, pillaging, looting, all this stuff. And then then through August, September, well, July, August time frame, they weren't so much because it was hot and sweaty. It's hard to set fires and loot when it's hot outside. It's also hard to set fires and loot when it's freezing freaking cold. Your toes, your nose get cold. You can't do that. You got to stay where it's warm, play Xbox or cool, the air conditioner, paid for by the government, of course. You ever notice that? It always seems to be this time of year when it's nice outside. Huh, I wonder why that is. I'm sure it's completely organic. They only get mad this time of year. You know, these shootings only happen this time of year. F anyone? Anyways, let's see, the COVID-19, economic damage. Second, they caused civil unrest by paying mercenaries. Anarchist groups they created. They start attacking innocent civilians. What was that? Don't know white people come down Sherman. Between two opposing citizen groups, they place snipers on the rooftops and start firing into the crowd. Now, they haven't done this yet in this country, but this is what they do overseas. This is what the color revolution was about. None knows who started the shooting. Each side blames the other. This starts a civil war within the nation. The globalists, during the chaos, insert their people in every aspect of government, thereby finishing off the coup. And once they've totally controlled the military, game is over. Heads up, America. The communist, globalist, and their dim psychopaths are waging war in America right now. Situation awareness 24/7 is mandatory. Peace is gone. War. I have to disagree with the one thing right here, though. It is not communist globalists, my friends. It is not the communist globalists. It's not. Hillary Clinton said she was an early 19th century or early 20th century, early 1900s, early 20th century, progressive. Progressive. Why did she use the word progressive? Where did that name come from? Why is it that Ukraine, which has Nazi mercenaries working for them, which I was informed over this weekend, there's a lot of Nazi stuff going on in Ukraine, is at war with Russia, and we're siding with Ukraine. If the globalists are communists, they should be siding with Russia, should they not? Early 20th century progressive. Did you know that in the late 1930s, the Nationalist Socialist Party of America, complete with seals, swastikas, and busts of Adolf Hitler, put 30-some-odd thousand people in Madison Square Garden? Did you know that? I watched it on the History Channel. They talked about it. You can type in a search engine and watch the documentaries. They're out there. Do you know that the National Socialist Party of America, or Nazis America, National Socialist Party, that's where the term Nazi came from. They are socialist. Understand, they are fascist socialists. You got communist socialists and fascist socialists, and they don't like each other. Okay? Antifa's running around, kill the Nazis, because that's what they're told by their fascist socialist communist professors, they're fascist socialists, that they should do. But they're totally misrepresenting what it is. You see, because the National Socialist Party of America got a really bad rap in the 40s. You know, this World War thing, trying to conquer the world, you know, killing a whole bunch of people, killing a bunch of Jews. They really got a bad rap. So in the 50s, with their membership dwindling, they changed their name. And guess what they changed it to, Hillary Clinton? The Progressive Party of America. Hillary Clinton is an early 20th century Nazi. See, what do Nazis do? Nazis are socialism government in conjunction with corporate entities. The corporations and the socialist government merge and become one. That's fascism. That's what it is. In communism, they dissolve all the corporations and the government takes everything. In fascism, they merge them together. It's still socialism. It's just, you know, works better for everybody. So where am I going with this? Oh, this little article right here. Top CEOs meet on Zoom to mount new voter legislation effort. What's this all about? More than 120 CEOs, top executives, I hinted to this yesterday, top executives and other corporate leaders gathered virtually over the weekend to discuss how they would exert corporate pressure to influence voting legislation. Organizers of the meeting revealed in a statement. Oh yes, a bunch of these rich CEOs from these rich corporations. Oh boy, we're going to go over that. This is rich, let me tell you. Some of them were at the Masters. I'm sure all of you guys flew your corporate jets to the Masters too, right? Yeah, they were at the Masters in Georgia as they discussed this. The meeting, which took place Saturday via Zoom, was organized by Yale School management professor, here's a winner, Jeffrey Stonenfield, in conjunction with the Coalition for Inclusive Capitalism, translate fascism. There's no such thing. Capitalism cannot be regulated. If it's regulated, it's not capitalism. And the Leadership Now Project. Where have I heard that before? It was first reported by the Wall Street Journal on Sunday. Sonnenfield, or Sonnenfield, I said it wrong before. I'm terrible with names, get over it. Said after the meeting that the groups initially invited over 100 CEOs. We were praying. Who were you praying to, you godless socialist Nazis? Who are you praying to? What God? We were praying for 25 and we got 90, he said. Adding to that, we also managed to convince an additional 30 experts, because we got to have some experts, because the experts are the ones that expert us. Yeah, they give us all the cover because they're experts. Like Dr. Fauci's an expert on the COVID-19 because he created it. 30 experts and historians to join the call. While the groups decline to provide names of Saturday's attendee, Merrick and Company CEO Kenneth Frazier and American Express CEO Kenneth, boy, a lot of Kenneth around here. I don't know, Chinanault, whatever. Were both reported to have spoken in the virtual gathering. Frazier, who helped gather the 71 prominent Black business leaders to sign a letter late last month condemning efforts to tighten voting rules, urged fellow CEOs to make similar calls. Well, hold on a second. Let me just touch on something here real quick, okay? So Glenn Beck did a heck of a video on this the other day, and if you get a chance to watch it, you should. What they're upset about is these legislatures. Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution says that the legislature of the several states decides the election laws for the president. Okay, the legislature. is the only, not the governor, not the secretaries of state, not the president, not the vice president, not the Congress, not the courts, not the Supreme Court. No one else is. The Constitution is very, 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 did I say very clear? The legislature of the several states decides how we vote for president. Okay? Actually, to decide not necessarily how we vote for president, they decide how the electors are picked, whether they're just pulled out of a hat, which they could be, or it's a popular vote in the state. They get to decide, okay? Or anything in between. But what we have here is we had, before the election, and this is what Donald Trump talked about, in these several states, governors and secretaries of states changed the voting rules without the legislatures, which is totally illegal. And then the courts of those several states went and supported the governor. And we did this because it was an emergency. It was an emergency. We're all going to die from COVID. We can't show up to the voting place because we're all going to die of COVID. Oh my God, we're all going to die of COVID. What are we going to do? And then the day after election, all these companies announced they had a vaccine. Why did they announce that before the election? Because they had the vaccine. They had the vaccine all along. Oh, wait a second. That's another conspiracy. I'm not chasing that one today. But they changed the voting laws illegally, which means the vote shouldn't count, and borrowed this election from the American people and placed Faux Joe and the Ho in the White House, supposedly. So they did this. Now these state legislatures are trying to rein this back in. Let's get this back to where it should be. They in Georgia, which is what this firestorm's over, they said, well, we need to expand another couple Saturdays, another couple days, the pre-voting, we need to get control of the mail-in voting, and you have to present an ID to vote. And these companies, and these CEOs, and all these people, they're upset because they're freaking racist, and they believe that black people are too stupid to get an ID. So they're saying it's racist to make black people get an ID because you're too stupid. I didn't say that. That's what they're saying. Look, I got a tote-to-note car lot. I service the poor of the poor with my little car lot. I sell cars that are $5,000 less, $500, $600, $700, $800 down, $50 a week, no interest. Through my business, that's what I do. I've been doing it for 20 years. Everybody that comes into my business has got an ID and gladly gives it to me when I ask for it. Some of them don't have driver's license, but and I'm sure this is the same in every single state, that you go right down to the license bureau and you say, I want ID, and they give you a freaking ID for nothing. You have to have an ID to get on a plane, a bus, a train, to buy liquor, to buy cigarettes. You have to have an ID to buy lottery tickets. You have to have an ID to go to school. You have to have an ID to get your stinking vaccination shot. But not to vote? That's somehow racist? No, you're the racist if you think black people can't get IDs. Statement following said the CEO indicated readiness to act individually and collectively to shore up American democracy and ensure Americans have access to world-class voting system, especially one we can manipulate with dominion. CEOs who participated in the live poll indicated that they will reevaluate donations to candidates. That's fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. You donate your money to whoever you want to donate it to. Supporting bills that restrict voting rights, and many would reconsider investing in states which act upon such proposals. Well, you guys do what you want to do. Freedom and all that. Racist. Other prominent names who reportedly logged in include Walmart CEO Doug McMillon, billionaire Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank, Ariel Investments CEO Melody Hobson, Levi Strauss chairman Chip Berg, and so on and so forth. Former 20th Century Fox Murdoch and wife, and also attended. Yeah, James Murdoch, isn't that wonderful? That's the boy. And Fox shares comment owner, the publisher of the Post. How about that? They put that in there. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that great? The legislation, legislation in question, signed by Governor Brian Kemp last month, overhauls election protocols in Georgia a little bit too late, placing new restrictions on voting by mail, requiring voter ID and increased legislation control over, because the legislature is who is supposed to have control over the voting process. President Biden initially referred to the bill as Jim Crow on steroids, and he should know because he was a senator for the Democrats, which Jim Crow was. After the days of signing, the day after its signing, excuse me, but went even further within days of saying he would strongly support moving the Major League Baseball Midsummer Classic in protest, which they did, to out of a black neighborhood into a predominantly white, rich neighborhood in Colorado. But, you know, hey, who cares, right? Anyways, this goes on and on and on, and I don't want to chase that anymore. Oops, I don't want to do that, though. All right, don't want to talk about that one yet. Okay, anyways, I'm going to get to the point. All right, so check this out. All right, this is that organization that they created. It says the right to vote is a cornerstone of democracy or a cornerstone of our democracy. We believe every American should have a voice in our democracy. Oh, this is what democracy looks like. Burn it down. And that voting should be safe and accessible to all voters. And, you know, them stupid inwards, they don't know how to get licenses or IDs. So we can't have that. But they can buy lottery tickets. Amazing. We stand in solidarity with voters and with Black executives and leaders at the helms of this movement in our nonpartisan 100% partisan commitment to equality and democracy, because we need to reaffirm that the Democrats control it all forever, because that's what we want, because we're Nazis and we're going to merge our companies with government and we're going to wipe out all of our competition. It'll just be us and we'll be rich. It'll be great. If our government is going to work for us all, at least us anyways, for all of us, each of us must have equal freedom to vote in elections and must reflect the will of the voters. Then why don't we get Fo-Jo and the Ho out of the White House, since more people voted for Trump and the election was stolen? I mean, borrowed. Yeah, it wasn't stolen. It's borrowed. Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. The elections are not improved when lawmakers impose barriers that result in longer lines at the polls and reduce access to secure ballot drop boxes. Yeah, we need those drop boxes so that we can, manipulate it a little more. They're trying to tighten it up so it can't be manipulated. There are hundreds of bills threatening to make voting more difficult in dozens of states nationwide. We call on elected leaders in every state capital and in Congress to work across the aisle, reach across the aisle. Republicans need to reach across the aisle. Democrats never reach across the aisle, but the Republicans, they always reach across the aisle. We love each other. We're John McCain and Mitt Romney reaching across the aisle. That every eligible American has the freedom to easily cast their ballot. They do. And participate fully in the democracy. And they can, but they're too stupid to get an ID. These are the companies, by the way. Look them over. Do you recognize any of them? These are the companies that are colluding with the government, in the form of fascism, Nazism, with the early 20th century Hillary Clinton progressivism. A Bain company. Isn't that the one Mitt Romney used to work for? Or a derivative of? See what else we got here. Oh, there's Capital One right there. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it great? Oh, Cisco. Yeah, wonderful. Glad they showed up. Dow Chemical. Amazing. Shocking. I'm shocked, I tell you. Shocked. Look at there. Mr. Zucky made it to it. Isn't that great? Oh, look at all these companies. Look at all these companies. It goes on. HP, isn't that wonderful? I'm so glad they're so inclusive. Levi Strauss, wonderful. LinkedIn, Lyft, it's great. All Major League Baseball, isn't it? Microsoft, who would have guessed? Who would have guessed Microsoft would show up, right? It's amazing. It just goes on and on and on. Petco, it's where the pets go, right? Isn't it great? We have all these companies involved. See, Snapchat's involved. All these companies is great. Target, look at there. Uber, Twitter. Oh, I'm shocked. Twitter, say it ain't so. Anyways, this is on my Telegram account. If you'd like to go and check that out, you're more than welcome. And share that with all your friends, neighbors, and relatives, because I'm sure they'd like to know what these Nazi companies colluding with the government are doing to take out their competition so they can get richer. Hello? Huh. When you put it that way. But that's what it is. Fascism. A socialist government teamed up with corporations is fascism. They don't like communists. That's why AOC and Bernie Sanders don't get along with Nancy Pelosi and Chucky Schumer. Got Nazis on one side and communists on the other. Isn't it wonderful? Either way, we lose. Then there's this. Think back to everyone. Think back to everyone. Think back. You were taught to think as if, as the bad guy growing up, and reevaluate. I'm not sure if they wrote that right, but the premise of this is good. Why would American leadership teach us that countries like Russia, North Korea, or any Middle Eastern countries are always trying to brew up turmoil with the great in the USA? Because unlike us, these countries knew what our country's leadership has been hiding and what they have been trying to do to us for decades. Now, who are the real bad guys? Now, I've been asking this with Ukraine and Russia, and everything that's going on. This is why Trump started 0 wars and from year one made close ties with Putin, Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping. This is why he held the sword next to the Saudi King Solomon. And when it comes to cabal-owned countries, this is why he is seen walking in front of people. The Queen of England, for example. Why do you think Trump always shows up late to cabal funerals? Why can't the former president stand him? None of them, not one former living president. Since his first international tour, he's been throwing the book at the top world leaders. Trump can't be swayed, nor can he be bought. Why do you think big tech oligarchs always look like they're going to shite their pants on their Zoom calls? We have it all. Nothing can stop what's coming. You see, there's something going on behind the scenes. One more thing. I found this one to be interesting. I've been on a number of channels. He's talking about Telegram channels. There's been some infighting among the 17 people, which I stay away from. There's been on a number of channels this morning, and there's no question morale is very, very low. This was the other day, like 2 days ago. It's certainly not a shocker for any of us who are wide awake. This much I do know. God is in control no matter what. Second, I have never once doubted that there's a COVID operation being run by the military. No doubt Q has developed and was developed and hatched by the white hats, military, civilian, contractor, whatever. I never like to do this because God is where I put my full trust. But let's say for the sake of argument that there isn't a plan. There is absolutely no way Trump would be out in public forming a public forum, issuing press releases and making statements, pointing to a brighter future. We are close to the point of no return. If we reach that, both he and his family be rounded up like the Romanovs. It's snuffed out. There is no way he would ever willingly put he and his family in that kind of peril. I know he loves this country. He's not the type to walk away and flush everyone down the toilet. No way. I don't buy it. There'll be an intervention. It can't be far off. We're heading to very dangerous waters from here on out. Things are about to get rough. Things are about to get crazy. Kim Clement prophesied it. Some of the other people prophesied it. There's a whole lot that's about to happen, but understand God is in control no matter what. He's bigger. God is bigger than the boogeyman. And my wife's over there singing with me. She just walked in. Yeah. I got one more little video that I want to play, and then we'll end this today. Just check this out. This is from Kim Clement some time ago. Have faith that God is in control no matter what happens.
The Spirit of God says a divine acceleration is taking place throughout this nation. Some are weeping and crying, and they say, look at what happened to the House, and look what happened to the Senate. This is my doing, says the Lord. But this nation is being protected by my Spirit, by my prophets, and by my apostles. The gatekeepers, even though they should be, the gatekeepers are not the senators nor the governors in political realms. Some are and some aren't. But God said, my gatekeepers are the apostles and the prophets in hiding at this moment in time. But God said, even in your houses, amongst your children, tattooed on their skins, tattooed in their hearts, is the love and desire to be the voice of God. There is a fresh flow of the Spirit coming. It is coming from an open heaven. It is coming from an open tomb. I said it's coming from an open heaven, and it's coming from an open tomb. The Spirit of God said, I will arise and take your sons and your daughters, your grandchildren, and resurrect them and give them a double portion of what you had and my generals of this hour have, says the Lord of hosts. Come on. But the Spirit of the Lord says, I have young men and women, 16 years, 17 years old, 22, 25, like David. And they do not want to hide under the armor of Saul. God says there is a new way, and yet it is an old way. I have a stone for this generation. I have the stone for this generation. That stone is my son. That stone is the rock, Christ Jesus. And that stone shall be given to the Davids of this generation. And they shall bring down the force of hell that is crying from Russia, from Syria, from Iran, from all over the world. Crying, give us blood, give us blood, give us blood, give us blood. But the Spirit says, no, there shall be no world war yet. For I am yet to show you the manifestation of a rock in the hand of a generation that shall bring down the voice of hell. This is my will. Look for it, for it is coming, says the Spirit of God.
God is still going to move. It doesn't matter if you believe. It doesn't matter what you like. It doesn't matter what you want. God is going to do it his way, in his time, when he's ready. Just stand firm and have faith in God. He's coming. I believe it 100%. You guys have a great day. I got to end this broadcast, go to work. My guys are already starting to make noise. Talk to y'all later.